those two guys, I mean, they hit it perfect. If I could have hit it like that back in the day, I could have won 1 or 2 too.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
You know, I'm gonna break it down like this. There was 2 guys in that show that were really in shape. And that was first and second place.
Yep.
I think Derek was in good shape, and I think Hadi was in good shape. Beyond that, Samson was soft, and you go down the line, and everybody was soft. I mean, the only 2 guys that shredded glutes were Derek and Hadi. The guys were soft. You know, if Samson would get hard, he beats everybody for years. Nobody could match him if he come in ripped.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
He has everything. You just got to get his condition down. So, you know, so I think the conditioning is definitely a big factor. You know, if that physique you just put on the screen there,
yeah,
2000, I think I would have won.
I was going to say that. I wanted to hear you say it though, but I think you would have won.
You know, but that's but again, I hate these things, man. Because
I know.
You know, it's
well, let's look. You would have beat Derek because you're harder from the front than Derek, and more complete. And I think you're bigger than Hadi. I know Hadi's pretty big, but I think you're bigger and denser than he is, and you match up conditioning wise better than him. You know, so that's why I have you beating him. But that it's crazy, and you guys are all kind of like the same height, which would you know level the playing field too.
About Hadi and Derek both, and they hit it perfect. I mean, I said this in some interviews previously before the Olympia. I said, "This, what do you think?" I said, "It's going to be, Hadi and Derek as long as none of the big guys are in shape." And what I meant by that was if like Samson's off, and some of the other, Andrew Jack, some of these guys, even Hunter Labrada, who's a big guy, if they're off, they're not 100%. Then that leaves it open for somebody like Hadi and Derek to win because the reason I lost to 2009, Jay's bigger, he's taller.
Yep.
Size matters, plain and simple. I knew that going into it, and I've known that before then. I've known it since then. And size matters. Was I in better shape than Jay? 100%.
Yeah.
Jay, absolutely. He was probably his all-time best that year. He just lost to Dexter the year before, so he was hungry. Right. He brought his all-time best conditioning look to that Olympia in 2009. So, so Hadi and Derek the past few years hit it perfect. None of the bigger guys really brought it. And, I think Nick Walker probably would have been the hardest one in the show. But, he, going against the way Derek looked this year, you never know. Maybe Nick would have showed up and shown us something we hadn't seen before and won the whole thing. But he would have been, I think, hard-pressed because of Derek's conditioning and Derek's shape.
Right. So
those 2 guys, I mean, they hit it perfect. If I could have hit it like that back in the day, I could have won 1 or 2 too. But it's just, that's if you're, 5'6", 5'7", and the size of Derek and Hadi. If somebody like Samson shows up and they're hard, they don't have to be you can be harder than them. They just got to be hard. And
why do you think a guy like Samson is not bringing that level of conditioning? Is it what we talked about earlier? Does he not have enough dense quality muscle and he needs more time, or is it he's not dieting hard enough? Or I hate when I hear people say some guys just can't get that hard. I don't believe that. I believe that if you suffer enough, everyone can get shredded.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, I mean, the guy just got 3rd in Olympia, so he's doing something right? He just went out. So the guy's a mountain of a man. He's huge. Almost 300 pounds on stage, right?
Right.
290 something. So he's gigantic. He's got great shape, for that size. He's still got a small waist. All the body parts are there. He just needs that conditioning. So what's the answer? I don't know. I don't know anything about his training or his nutrition, but I would speculate it has something to do, need to make some adjustments to the nutrition plan to just come in a little bit tighter. I mean, he gets, like I said, he didn't have to be as hard as Hadi or Derek. He just got to be hard.
Yeah.
He wins. So
my theory on this whole thing is that, and I know it sounds ridiculous because he's so big, but let's say he needs to be 10 pounds lighter, right? to be in the best shape of his life, which would bring him down to what, 280 or the mid 280s. I don't know. You never get a real accurate, weight on these guys. So, which means he probably needs to add another 10, 15 pounds of muscle, which I know sounds insane because he's so big already, but he's really not carrying 300 pounds of ripped muscle. He should theoretically be lighter than what he is to be conditioned. But if he's lighter, he might not look as complete. And I understand why they brought him in why Milos brought him in looking the way he did, because he looks better, fuller. But if he can replace that fullness with real muscle and lose that body fat, I think that's the unbeatable package. Wouldn't you say?
That's the Ronnie Coleman look.
Right. That's what Ronnie did, exactly.
Ripped hard. He's the biggest on stage and the hardest on stage at that point.
Right. Okay. I mean, Ronnie wasn't 6'2" or whatever Samson is, which is obviously makes it harder, but sometimes it just takes longer, to get there, and I think the gains that Samson made are incredible if you think about it over the last 2 years. Oh,
incredible. And he's the hottest guy out there right now, I think, as far as obviously Derek's the champ, but he's the hottest guy, just won the Arnold and got third at the Olympia. And he is, in my opinion, the number one contender for the title next year.
Yeah. If I think Samson's doing the Arnold, I hear Hottie's doing the Arnold, and I know Nick Walker, he hasn't announced, but I have a feeling we're going to see him at the Arnold after seeing him last week guest posing. He looks like he's all healed up. If we see those three guys at the Arnold Classic, who do you think takes that title? If you were a betting man.
Talk about apples, oranges, and pears.
Yeah.
You got three totally different physiques. Man, I don't know. Nick's won it before. Samson won it last year. I don't know. Everything being equal, Nick will probably be the hardest one on the contest with his conditioning. Then you got Hade, who, he kind of has a combination of size, shape, hardness, everything. And then of course Samson, that just massive presence on stage because of his size.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Nick was, this last year, if Nick had looked like he did at the Olympia, I think he would have won the Arnold. I think he would have been Samson. Quite a bit lighter. I think his legs suffered the most, like that. If he had looked like he did at the Olympia, I think he would have won. He still got second. And
right.
So that's a tough one. I don't know.
Yeah.
If Nick comes in his absolute best, I think he could win. But
all three of those guys could win, really, is the answer, right? I mean,
it's a tough one, man. I mean, Samson could repeat, and Hadi, he's proven his greatness. Won the Olympia and beat the whole world. So
yeah,
I think it just depends on how they show up that day. Because I could sit there and choose any one of the three and justify them winning.